Hello and welcome to episode 151 of Ready to Mosh. I'm Kev P, and alongside me is the hack to my vist. It's GMG.
Guess that's on point, isn't it?
Try and keep it like that. So this episode, it's the Mangata review, and it's, 14 or so hours after it finished.
Yeah, we're getting on it with this one, aren't we?
Very much so. Getting straight on it.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
I'm really tired.
We're powered by coffee.
Yeah, it was a very long day, wasn't it?
Yeah, exhausty-pasted, I think is the word
Okay.
right now. But we thought, well, it's fresh. We'll get it done, in theory.
Yeah.
Although I'm not quite sure what I can remember. I'm sure it'll all come back to me as we go.
Fair enough.
There were bands. I know that much.
There was definitely bands.
There was a lot of bands.
I think you said about 14?
I think 13 or 14, I think we saw all together.
Not a bad effort.
Not a bad effort.
Across all 4 stages as well.
Yeah, we went everywhere. Here, there, and.
Yeah, some really good music, some mad moments that we'll talk about later.
Yeah, some bands we've seen before, some bands that we hadn't seen before.
A lot of faces that we knew and people that we spoke to.
Yeah, that was good. So let us begin.
So should we talk about the first band then?
That seems a good place to start.
Yeah. So first band we saw was the band that opened up the whole thing, which was Reckoner.
Yeah, a band that we had seen before last year. And I think we said in the preview it was only about like the 3rd or 4th gig we saw them at last year, wasn't it?
And they sounded amazing again. And I feel like they deserve a bigger crowd than they got.
Yeah, it was fairly busy to start with, actually. There was a good queue when we got there. But yeah, it's a shame there weren't a few more people in the room, but...
I think people were definitely getting into them.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of these. I think they're going to do really well. And yeah, it would have been nice to see a busier room. And they're actually playing in Sal in October as well.
Yeah, they mentioned that, didn't
they?
I'm not sure if we can get to that one.
We will have to check, but if we can, then I think we'll be going to that.
Yeah, so that's the old Salutation. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. I think they'll do really well on that because it's a smaller room, isn't it, as well? That'll be really good to see them on. But yeah, I think they were a good choice for an opening band. Really kind of set the tone for the day well. As you said, they played really well. Yeah, it was a good start.
And then we had our one and only trip to Ghost.
Yeah, so we left Reckoner before they'd finished because obviously with overlaps, this will be a theme of the day, I guess. But yeah, we went to Ghost, which was the new stage for Mangata this year. Not exactly where we thought it was. We thought it was in the, what do you call it? The venue, previously known as Spanky Van Dyke's. But it was actually the doorway on the corner and it went upstairs above what was Spanky Van Dyke's. And I think, is it the Liquid Rooms or something?
Yeah, I think so.
The other room where we thought it was and Ghost, yeah, it was quite a few stairs to climb to get up there.
Yeah, and the reason that we only made the one trip is because of the security on the door at Ghost were just idiots and just kind of overzealous.
It did seem a bit unnecessary given that there wasn't really any going into the main venue. Like there weren't really any, when we got there at least, wasn't any bag checks. They might have been checking people as they went in. But literally rummaging through every tiny pocket of my 2 bags because I have a kit bag that I carry in my normal bag.
Yeah. And
you got a good scene.
Yeah, I got patted down, had to take my wallet out, had to open my wallet up. So really?
It seemed a bit of a rigmarole. And obviously we're wasting time when we were wanting to get in for a band as well. And the person in front of us had quite a large rucksack and they were going through that with a fine-tooth comb.
Yeah, and I think it's the venue. It's not Mangata security. It's the venue of Ghost security.
It is normally like a nightclub.
Yeah, so that's the reason that we only made one trip there, because after that much pissing about, I wasn't prepared to go through it every single time if we're going to have to keep going there and back.
Yeah, if we're moving between stages, you're on limited time anyway. You don't need further delays to things, do you?
Yeah. So apologies to all of the bands after Cinco Lima, some of whom I really did want to see, but the security just put us right off, and because of that, we refused to go back there.
Yeah, it's a shame. There were some bands, a couple of bands I think we've seen before in there, a couple that we haven't, and there's some that we're hoping to see in other places anyway. But I mean, from the footage I saw for other bands in there, they did get a good crowd anyway, and it was quite a small venue in there, wasn't it?
That was the other thing. It was tiny, and it was, I think there was a balcony, but it was roped off.
I saw some footage from there later on from Mangata, so you might have been able to get up there with my photo pass, I'm not sure. But anyway, it was a decent crowd in there for Cinco Lima.
Yeah, they got a decent crowd. And Yeah, the new drummer sounded good.
Yeah, they treated us to a new track, which is exciting because they've got their third album coming up at some point.
Yeah, which we've got a rough idea of when it's going to be. I don't think we'll say it on here just because in case we're not allowed to. I don't know if it's been shared to the wider audience yet, but we kind of know when it's coming. But yeah, looking forward to hearing that when it comes out. The new track sounded good as well.
Yeah, and obviously some of the newer stuff off their second album, which I don't think we've heard before live. I don't think. I can't remember now because it's a couple of years since we've seen them actually somehow.
Well, we were supposed to see them not that long ago, but you weren't very well.
Yeah, well, it was not last December, the December before, wasn't it? And obviously, they took a break from touring while they were getting the album out and stuff. But yeah, just really good to see them live again. Always put on a good show, and
yeah, they played like a lot of the stuff that we're very familiar with as well. So it was quite a nice mixed, sort of balanced set.
Yeah,
like old and new.
Yeah, definitely, and it was good to see them get a good crowd in there. Obviously, they're a fairly local band, so yeah, opened up proceedings well in that stage. Like we say, unfortunately, we just didn't get back there again.
Yeah.
So after that, we then went back to the main room to catch some of Orbital Alignment, who we hadn't seen before. Well, actually, we've seen the drummer before. We've seen Sam in Beyond Your Design.
Yeah.
But we've not seen the band as a whole. So yeah, they were really good. They kind of brought the death metal to the room. Again, there's probably similar sized crowd to Retina, I think. It was filling up a little bit more by then. But there was lots of crowd interaction. Lead singer was down there within the crowd at one point. They even had a little bit of ballroom dancing going on, which I don't think I have ever seen before in a pit.
No, that's a first.
But yeah, the crowd were definitely starting to warm up though at that point. There were some pits breaking out, and yeah, they were just kind of amping up the room really at that point and getting the crowd really going.
Yeah, and then after that, it was our first trip into the Red Rooms to watch Cryptess, who I have to admit I wasn't a massive fan of before, but watching them live, so much better. A band that kind of works better live for me.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing them anyway because I quite like what I've listened to so far. And yeah, it came across really well live. Yeah, I really enjoyed their performance. They were supposed to have a drummer with them.
Yeah.
Which they'd posted about earlier in the week. And then unfortunately, I think they had a hand injury. So they were without a live drummer. So it was backing drums, but it still sounded really good. Worked well.
Yeah.
Yeah, their vocalist is exceptional. I don't know where she gets that voice from. But
just how it switches on, just absolutely brutal vocals, and you just don't see that coming at all, do you?
No, it's just insane. I mean, it sounds, like I said, it sounds great on listening to them, but the way it comes across live as well is just, exceptional. I really enjoyed them.
So that took us to around 2:15, and we were going to watch Street Soldier, but we needed to get some refreshments.
Yeah, we just needed a bit of fresh air at that point, so we just went and got a drink, had a bit of a sit down.
Yeah, because the thing was, I think in all venues, really, it was incredibly warm, especially the Red Rooms.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, we knew that we got a pretty much back-to-back 2 or 3 hours. So we're going to have a little sit down now while we can, because the next 2 and 3 hours we're just going to be
manic,
back-to-back between bands. So, rest the old legs, as you do. So yeah, we had quick refreshment stop and then back into the Red Rooms for El Muno, who had a delayed start to proceedings. I think.
Yeah, they were like 10 minutes late.
Yeah, and we were quite looking forward to these because a few people had kind of recommended them to us. But I don't think the sound just didn't come across that great.
No, and there was somebody next to me as well who kind of thought the same as us. They were trying to turn the sound up, but the room couldn't handle that much sound. So everything just became a distorted mess.
And it is, if you're not in there, it's quite a low ceilinged room as well. So obviously the acoustics will be impacted by that, won't they?
Yeah. I think these were the most disappointing for me because I really wanted to watch them, really wanted to listen to them, but the sound was too high. They were 10 minutes late and it just became a garbled mess. It just didn't work.
No, I think we did watch about half of the set, didn't we, overall? And I think I probably would try and watch them again in a different venue to see if it comes across better.
It's just weird that nobody else had that issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, like we say, because of the shape of the room, the size of the room, it's not always the best sound-wise, especially compared to obviously the main room, which is more set up for that.
Yeah, that's designed for it, isn't it?
But yeah, we didn't notice those issues with any other bands we did see in there as much. So it was a shame because, say, they had been recommended by people who've seen them live before. So I think it was just the venue on the day didn't work for them.
So yeah, we watched kind of most of the set and then went and got a drink and then headed back to the main room for Ghost of Atlantis.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to these. They did not disappoint.
No, these were one of the highlights of the day for me.
Yeah, they were for me as well.
I've got about 4 bands that really stood out. These were one of them. And I'm annoyed that I didn't pick a t-shirt up.
I know. We'll talk about merch at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking that now, actually. But I'm sure we said in the preview, actually, I'm sure there's somewhere else that we are later in the year, or they've got a gig somewhere that we could potentially go to. But yeah, I just love their sound. For me, they're kind of a mix of Cradle of Filth meets and Mon Amour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It was captivating as well, wasn't it? You just couldn't take your eyes off it. It was just such a good performance.
Yeah, I started off right at the front because I had a photo pass, so I kind of went in the front of the pit, just to the side, out the way, and seeing them close up as well. Just really they were very imposing. With all this, in fact, we walked past them when we were in the backstage bit, putting some stuff in our bag. Anyway, they'd obviously just had the makeup sorted and got their outfits on and stuff. But yeah, they were just really imposing. They've got such a stage presence.
Again, but this is a band that, again, I think deserved a bigger crowd as well. I think there should have been more people there for them. Yeah,
it was almost that mid-afternoon kind of limbo period, I think, wasn't it? But the crowd that were there were definitely enjoying it. And then I went and I joined you on the balcony.
Yeah.
And so I got kind of the more distant perspective of it as well, which was good.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that.
Yeah. We'll definitely, if we haven't got them on our radar for later in the year, if I've just made that up, we'll definitely be looking out for when we can get to see them again. And then we were straight through the doors into Red Rooms for another one of our favourites, former guests of the show, Drip Fed Empire.
Yeah, they were fucking incredible.
They were amazing. We were looking forward to seeing them in a room like that, although we both said after, I think they should have been on the main stage.
Yeah.
Because I think they would have got the crowd for the main stage.
It says in my notes that the stage was way too small for them. It was incredibly busy. It was hot. It was so hot in there.
Yeah.
And they were on.
The thing was as well, although we're saying that they would have been good on main stage and it would have suited them, they'd have got the crowd. It was also really good that they were in that small room because it just added to the atmosphere.
It did, yeah.
That room was literally jumping. I was jumping the whole way through.
Yeah. Yeah, I was against the wall and you couldn't move.
Yeah.
It was absolutely heated.
I was just kind of on the edge of the pit. Every now and again I got brought into the pit. But it was a nice pit, if you know what I mean. It wasn't vicious. It was a dancey.
It had its moments.
It had its moments, but it was fine. It was fine. Jay, the lead singer, he got into the pit himself at one point.
Yeah.
They ended up with Jack and Jordan in the pit at the end, everyone dancing around them. Yeah, it was just a really good, fun atmosphere. There's lots of people in there, obviously, fans of the bands and people who hadn't seen them before.
Yeah, I think anybody who hadn't seen them before will have walked away on that. That was incredible.
Yeah, they threw out some T-shirts, which was annoying because they didn't seem to have merch there. We wanted some merch from them.
Yeah.
I nearly got one. Grazed my fingertip.
Yeah, I saw.
But yeah, definite highlight. Like we said, we'd seen them, the first Mangata, didn't we, on an outside stage. We'd seen them on an indoor stage that wasn't really very busy at all. Missed opportunity to see them due to the weather, the flood. So it was great to finally see them in that kind of environment. So yeah, after the intense heat of the Red Rooms for that set, we did need some fresh air. So we popped outside, got some air, quick refreshment break. And then we did have a look in the market that they got in Stealth. So I think we mentioned in our preview, we thought on the map, it was the upstairs bit that was kind of the backstage area, but it was actually downstairs.
Yeah.
In Stealth, where most of the merch for the 2 rescue room stages was in there. And then there was some various other stalls selling lots of cool stuff as well. Yeah, it was pretty well laid out. And kind of with the merch, I managed to get the new Mangata t-shirt in my size, but yours had sold out. Yeah, I thought, well, I asked for a medium, that had sold out. And then I said, I'll have a large, but they didn't have a large either. They'd only got extra large or small. And I'm not a fan of small t-shirts, really. Yeah, you like a baggier fit, don't you? Yeah, I can fit in one, but I usually, if I get a small, I'll cut it into more of a crop type t-shirt. And I thought there's no point me getting an extra large as well, I'll just borrow yours.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But obviously, we said in the preview you could have pre-ordered merch, and we didn't. We didn't follow our own advice.
I didn't need to.
Normally it's your size that sells out, isn't it? But they did have some Mangata shirts from previous years as well.
Yeah.
So perhaps they might do a reprint or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see some online at some point.
One thing they didn't have, and they didn't last year actually, was a poster.
Yeah.
First Mangata, we got a poster, didn't we? It was framed, and I think that would have been a nice touch. So we might just have to make one ourselves for that.
And the other problem was trying to find other bands' merch that weren't being done through Mangata.
Yeah, there seemed to be like a core of bands that had got their merch kind of with the Mangata merch that they'd got the Mangata team selling.
Yeah.
And then other bands who were just going to do their own merch. It was kind of out about an hour before the set, I think they told us, maybe a bit after. So it was.
Well, every time we went in, it just seemed to be the same ones. There was no changes.
I think there was a couple of changes.
But I don't really remember. Yeah, I don't remember it changing.
Some more appeared later on in the day as we got through the day. You know what I mean, later on. So yeah, we didn't get any merch, unfortunately. Yeah,
because I wanted a Drip Fed t-shirt, but couldn't find their stuff anywhere.
Same. So we're just assuming that they didn't take any with us, and we didn't really bump into any of them, did we?
Not really, no. And I wanted a Boss Keylord one as well, but didn't see any of their stuff.
No, so we'll have a look online, make use of old Bandcamp Friday if anyone's selling through that.
Yeah, so once we'd done that, it was pretty much just enough time to get another drink and head back into the Red Rooms for Those Once Loyal. So yeah, Those Once Loyal, was looking forward to seeing these. Again, another band that didn't really disappoint. Good to see Chase back.
Yeah, he was on bass for them. Yeah, like I said, we saw them last year it was Derby Belfast we saw them, wasn't it? So we knew they'd put on a good show again.
Yeah, they are a good band live. And yeah, true to form, put a really good set together. Played a new song.
I was going to say another band that treated us to a new track, which is sounding great. So yeah, that's one to look out for.
And again, they had a really busy room as well.
Yeah, we said we thought they would because again, a local band, we know they've got a good following. So the Red Rooms was once again full, overheating in a good way. Yeah,
it's a good room for bands, but it can get very warm and very busy.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's the sign on the door saying capacity of this room is limited, but I didn't notice that it was actually being monitored.
Enforced, yeah.
I did see security kind of wander through a couple of times, but there didn't seem to be any kind of permanent security.
Not in that room, no. Yeah.
There may have been at the back, just hidden, I don't know, keeping an eye on things. I think there would have been someone, but it didn't seem to be, kind of monitored, so. But it was fine, it worked well. And then we didn't see the whole set for Those Once Loyal because we needed to make our first trip over to the Tap and Tumbler.
Yeah.
To see Godeth. We said we'd make sure we checked them out, so we had to...
Hotfoot
it, yeah. At which point we realised it was raining, which was an annoyance. Because sometimes when I think back to the first Mangata, and I think we said it in the preview, how lovely it was with that setup. It worked really well.
Yeah.
But very much a rose-tinted view of it because obviously the weather was so nice. And I think on that setup, if the weather had been like it was on Saturday, and it was pretty much similar to last year, wasn't it? Kind of cloudy, some mid-afternoon rain. Everyone would have been trying to cram into the old cold store to get out the rain.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have probably been as glorious as it was back then. But anyway.
Yeah, made it to the Tap to watch Godeth. And yeah, they had so much energy. They're like feral hamsters on crack. Never seen such an excitable band. They just don't stop. So much energy, and everybody loved them as well.
Yeah, it was great to see they got a good crowd in there, and yeah, it was great to see them although we saw them last year at Bloodstock, it was great to see them on that big stage in the New Blood. They worked really well on that Tap stage as well, with all that energy just coming off them and getting the crowd going. And
yeah, I mean, obviously they played Bloodstock, but they could definitely play a bigger stage at places as well.
Yeah.
So I think they'll be back probably in a couple of years, to be honest, but playing a much bigger room.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we knew they'd be good, and they were, and it was great. Although we heard some of the new stuff last year when we saw them, it was great to hear the tracks off the EP again. Now it's been released and it's out in the wild fully, and
sounded really tight, and I thought they were excellent.
Yeah,
really, really good. Again, another one that were kind of on my sort of favourites list of the day.
Yeah, me too. I did want to get a t-shirt because there was a tiny merch bit for the bands in the Tap and Tumbler, just kind of next to the backstage. I'm saying backstage bit where all the kit was stored by the side door.
Yeah.
But obviously, when we were there, they were on stage, so there was nobody manning the merch, so I didn't get one. But I will get one online.
So, yeah, we watched. I think it was pretty much all of Goddess, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, I think we just left as they were doing the last track.
Yeah.
Because at that point, we realised we'd not eaten all day.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like 5:30 at this point.
Yeah, and I think we were just kind of running on adrenaline, but there's only so far that will get you before you're like, actually, I need something more substantial than alcohol and air. Obviously, we'd had breakfast at the hotel because we stayed over the night before. But again, there's only so much you can.
Yeah.
Although it's all you can eat, there's only so much you can eat when you know that you're going to be at a gig and you don't want to just sit there like a bloated potato.
So we went back to rescue rooms and grabbed some food
from the same vendor that we had last year there, which was, and apologies again if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Sayok La, which is authentic Malaysian street food.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable. I absolutely love it. I could sit and eat there all day, I'll be honest.
I was just still surprised that they still only had one vegetarian option.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because like they do the noodles, which you can have with tofu or chicken. Everything else is just chicken. And I really fancied some chips, but they only did the loaded fries with the chicken. And I don't know why they couldn't put the tofu on that. That's my only complaint. I had the noodles again and they were very, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, I think they don't do it with the chicken curry because it is basically the chicken just sits in the curry all the time.
That's what I mean, yeah. And the other one, they had like a deep fried chicken thing and then chicken bao buns. But yeah, I just thought maybe the loaded fries could have a tofu option.
Yeah.
But I was fine with noodles. I think my only issue with noodles is firstly, I do have a phobia of festival noodles, having got food poisoning from some. But these were fine, so I trust them more than I trust.
Yeah. The other ones you had were download.
Exactly, and it's mass-produced vendors, and you could tell these were basically done to order, weren't they? Because you gave your order, you waited for it. It's not been sat there for God knows how long. But the other thing is, noodles are never very good to eat in public, are they? These ones weren't too bad, but sometimes it can be a messy
affair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fine.
But my chicken curry was just what I wanted. It was amazing. I forgot how warm it was.
It smelled good as well.
Oh, I'm still thinking about it now. It was so nice. And
it was still raining at this point, but we did manage to get a perch on a bench under cover.
Yeah.
To eat it as well, which was good.
Yeah, you don't want to be still out in the wet eating.
No, I suppose we could have got inside the rescue rooms bar, couldn't we, actually?
Yeah.
I did see some other people with the food in there, but...
I've never even thought of that, to be honest.
It wasn't until I saw people after doing that. I was like, actually, I suppose we could have. There's nothing to say you can't.
Well, yeah, the point is it's part of the thing, isn't it?
Exactly. So. But yeah, it just smells nice as well all day, even after we'd eaten and I wasn't hungry anymore.
You could still smell it. It's like,
smell it. And
more.
Sometimes you go to festivals or whatever and the food just smells bad.
Yeah.
Bad burgers. It's that kind of... I've phrased on it. Oh, it smells like bad burgers. But no, this just smells nice. And you can tell it's fresh. And and they're just really lovely people as well, aren't they? Yeah, so it's great service, great food, and recommend if you see them at an event anywhere else.
So, finished our food. Again, got a drink and headed up. Well, I headed up. You went downstairs to start with, where you came up to meet me to watch Boss Keloid.
Yes.
Who I'm going to say now could have headlined.
Yeah.
They were magnificent. They were the band of the day for me. And we know so many people that said exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
Who just came away going, wow. Well, it just blew everybody away.
Yeah, they're just one of those bands that just puts on a good show, aren't they? We saw them last year at Uprising, didn't we? I think they still headlined there, actually.
Yeah.
The second stage. But yeah, they're just they're consistent in their performance. They just get on stage, do what they do, but they do it well. One of those kind of bands.
Yeah. They manage to mix serious kind of musical skill, but also kind of have fun at the same time.
Yeah, they do. They don't take themselves too seriously at all.
But it's the right level, if you know what I mean. It's the right level of seriousness that they go to. And yeah, it feels like I don't know what it's going to take for them to just kind of blow up and just become huge.
Yeah, they just feel like one of those bands that's just been there on the cusp for quite a few years because they've got such a back catalogue. They play it so well, but yeah, They just like need a shove from somewhere upwards.
Yeah, somebody needs to get behind them and just make it happen because they're incredible.
Yeah, it's a really great choice to have them though at
Yeah.
Mangata. Yeah, it was just a really good set. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I do think they could have easily headlined it. They were unbelievable. They were probably my band of the day, and I think it was the same for a lot of people.
Yeah, definitely. Loads of people said that, as you said. So at this point, we went back over to the Tap and Tumbler for a band that I was looking forward to and was very curious about. And I think you were as well.
I was definitely curious about watching them.
And that is Thrasher Tui.
Yeah.
And they actually started their set early.
Yeah, they did.
By a few minutes, which is fine.
Yeah, that's what, if they're ready.
Yeah, they brought their chef metal to proceedings.
Yeah. Yeah, loud, fun, and a lot of puns.
Loads, yeah. Definitely, I'll say the good side of comedy metal, but I like comedy metal anyway. Yeah, what can you say? They brought out some of their, what I believe are their classics. They played their Mackie's track, which they weren't planning to play, but somebody requested
it, so they just played it for them. Yeah,
we've not played it in about a year, but they just cracked on and did it.
Yeah,
Chili Con Carnage got an out in, and yeah, they're just such good fun.
Yeah, they don't take themselves seriously, or too seriously. They have a laugh. They enjoy what they're doing, and they brought out an inflatable.
Apparently, this is the thing that they always do, which is get an inflatable ice lolly and get someone to crowd surf. Which is all well and good if you're in a proper venue. Not that the Tap isn't a proper venue as such, but essentially it is a pub with a stage.
Yeah.
Like if they'd have been in red rooms, it would have been a struggle because the ceiling's too low. I think the only place this was really going to work was the main stage.
Yeah, rescue rooms, main room.
However, we were in the Tap and Tumbler and they still did it. I did think maybe because I was kind of stood at the side, the backstage bit, the area, whatever, and their tech person brought this giant blow up lolly past me. I thought maybe they're just going to pass the lolly over.
Yeah.
The inflatable. I'm thinking surely they're not going to get somebody on this in here.
Yeah. Oh, they fucking did.
You know, anyone who says health and safety has gone mad in this country and you can't do anything.
At least go to Thrasher Tui.
They were not in that room.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Honestly, they got a few people volunteered and they picked someone. And I think this guy looked older than me. And he started surfing. First off, it was kind of heading right towards the bar, and I thought there was like that 500 quid's worth of top shelf that's going to kick off any minute. And he veered away. The crowd managed to veer him away from the bar, but then he just went straight off the inflatable. And I mean, it was such a landing. Like even I turned away and went, fuck it now. He landed right on his neck, and I thought he's broken something or he's going to die. That was insane. And he kind of got all rubbed the back of his neck, and then somebody else got on. Like, have you just seen what's happened? Are you out of your fucking mind?
And it's funny because we had different perspectives of it. Because I was at the side, kind of bit in the kind of the photo pit that wasn't really a photo pit, and you were at the back of the room. What I saw was him lying on this lolly, and about 4 people lifted it up, and I thought, well, maybe they're just going to put him there, and that's it. That's all they're going to do. Say this crowd surf. But no, all I just saw him disappeared. Legs first towards the bar. Yeah. And then I just heard the lead singer say, oh, and he's gone. So I just assumed it kind of slid off gently.
Oh, no, he landed with a fucking thump.
And then it was like, oh, he's coming back. So I just assumed the same person had got back up again.
Yeah, no.
And so someone kind of flied off at the front. But
okay, honestly, I thought that guy was going to die. I've never seen such a brutal impact on a bottle before.
No, I mean, I think the way it probably supposed to work is like when we saw massive wagons in the rescue rooms.
Yeah.
Last
year.
Year before last, I think. Is it last? I can't remember.
I think it was last year.
Yeah. Anyway, Baz got in a blow-up rubber dinghy kind of boat.
Yeah.
And crowd surfed. And I think that's probably what they're aiming for. I guess that worked. But the thing is as well, obviously, it wasn't like the room was packed to the back and it would have been a safe thing. It was always going to end somewhere.
Oh, yeah, it ended.
So maybe they should have had someone at the end just to catch the person, perhaps. But no, and obviously no security concerns in there, were there?
Yeah, that was nuts. That aside, Thrasher Tui were good fun. I enjoyed watching them.
Yeah,
I'm glad we made the trip down for it.
Yeah, definitely. They were such good fun.
So then after Thrasher Tui, we made the trip back to the rescue rooms, to the main room,
We did overhear a little bit of Raised by Owls in Ghost.
Yeah, so we were sat outside having a little chat with stuff from Sinkalima.
Yeah, he was on his way to see Raised by Owls.
Yeah.
So yeah, we heard about 5 minutes of them through the venue windows because they were loud.
Oh, they were
As
rattling.
expected.
Yeah.
And I know I said in the preview I really wanted to see them, but obviously we mentioned that it was a bit of a pain in the arse getting into Ghost from our first experience. And from the footage I've seen, the room was absolutely rammed.
Mm.
So slightly gutted I missed to see Mr. Blobby on stage, but hopefully we'll be up in time to see them at Bloodstock in a few weeks.
Yeah, and then we made it back into main room, and that was for the headliner Hacktivist, who I actually prefer live. I think they are better live than what I've listened to. Like, I can understand why they're a headliner. They're not really my sort of thing, but the room was very busy for them, and you could see a lot of people had specifically come just for Hacktivist.
Yeah, I agree with all that. They're not really my cup of tea, but I thought they put on a good show. The crowd were definitely well into it. It was definitely the most heaving that room had been all day because I started off down the front as well. There was definitely more security down the front than there had been all day.
Yeah.
And yeah, the whole room where I was stood initially was pretty much a pit.
Yeah. The whole place was pretty much a pit.
It was, yeah. And not my kind of friendly jumping pit either. It was
brutal.
That's the word, brutal, yeah, from what I could see. So I stayed down the front for a couple of tracks, but I was very hemmed in. And then I saw an opportunity to go out. Someone else was just coming out of the pit and went out. So I'm like, right, I'm going to follow them through this bit of crowd on the steps, ready to go down to the front at rescue rooms. Because it was very tightly packed and people didn't even seem to be wanting to let people out. So I'm like, right, I'm going for it. And I'll watch the rest from the balcony with you.
Yeah, security had to assist somebody, didn't they? Who was on the front, but seemed to be of a bit of difficulty.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they had to kind of wade in and help them out. So I just kind of followed the tail end of that to get up the stairs, have a bit of air from up the stairs because it wasn't too busy on the balcony.
No, it wasn't.
I think they're one of those bands, and I can't remember. There was another band that we went to see, and it's like, yeah, that they have the type of crowd where everybody just wants to be on the floor. They don't want to be out of the way. Yeah. Whereas a lot of bands are probably maybe 80% on the floor, 20% are kind of on the balcony.
Yeah.
Are us.
Yeah.
But no, pretty much everybody wanted to be on the floor for them. And it was great to watch from a height. Definitely better than being in the thick of it.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, they were putting on a good show. Everyone seemed to be really up for it. And
what was interesting, it seemed a very different crowd as to what had come before.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of people, I think maybe they just came for them.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Yeah, the people that we'd had all day seemed to be a very different crowd. Just in kind of like the way that the pits were, and everything, I don't know, it seemed very different. It gave a different atmosphere.
Yeah, it's very, to be honest, compared to everyone else pretty much on there. Maybe a couple of other bands are of a similar style, but yeah, they seem to kind of stand out as quite different to a lot of the other bands that have been on for the rest of the day. And I get why people probably would have bought a ticket just to see them, because the price of the whole festival was the same price as a lot of gig tickets are these days anyway. So it's not like you're paying a stupid amount of money for a festival but only going to see one band. But yeah, I think we watched about half of them, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. We watched about half of their set and then went back across to the Tap to catch Wolf Bastard.
Yeah, because they were someone we definitely wanted to check out. We missed them at Bloodstock last year. And again, they were great fun. I think they followed on great from Thrasher Tui.
It was the perfect mix, yeah.
Elements of comedy in there, and
yeah, very much like Thrasher Tui. They know how to play a crowd, don't they?
Yeah, and they've just got those, comedy songs, but they're metal at the same time, and
yeah, sounded good. Lots of interaction. Yeah, really happy with them.
Yeah, they just play slightly less than I thought they were going to be, because I think they were billed to be on 8:30 to 9:30, and I think they finished about 9:15, didn't they? They said, "Oh, we've got a couple of songs there."
Yeah, I thought they finished a bit early.
But yeah, I can honestly say I've never watched a band play a song about being sick in the bath before.
Yeah.
That was a new one. And I can't remember the other one that they played, and the title made me laugh when they said it. Yeah, they were all great fun anyway, weren't they?
Yeah, and then because everything had finished, apart from Viscera in Ghost that we weren't going to go back to, we stayed at the Tap, had a few drinks, and pretty much waited for Ritual King.
Yeah, and I think this year, what I noticed, like last year, we went to see kind of the last band in the Tap and Tumbler, and it was absolutely heaving. And they were running late anyway, which didn't help proceedings. But Yeah, you could hardly move in there. And this year, I think with them having the after party in Ghost instead, it kind of split the footfall of the traffic up a little bit. So I think whether people went there, people might have just hung around rescue rooms because obviously they have the club night on after anyway. But it didn't seem as busy in there.
It wasn't as busy as last year in there, but it was still busy in there.
Yeah, it was still busy. And like we just stayed kind of at the back and there was a good crowd in front of the stage. And as we often say about the Tap, it's a wonderful venue, but not great for seeing a band unless you're right at the front because of the pillars more than anything, not just the people. It's the pillars.
Oh, it's a combination of everything, and it slopes down slightly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of steps down to where the stage is rather than stepping up for the stage.
Yeah.
Which isn't great. It was kind of busy in that side, but you could easily get to the bar around the other side. And because the rain had disappeared by that point, we stood outside for a little bit as well, didn't we? Getting some air and
yeah. But Ritual King sounded really, really good. See why they're kind of headlining that.
Yeah, I think they were a good choice as well.
I think, but
just to finish things off because they've got that kind of stonery,
laid back,
chill
down.
kind of just to like you cool down at the end of a workout.
Session,
yeah. I feel like just basing it on like the Tap and Tumbler stages, you got like all the bands before them, really fast paced, like your Thrasher 2 and Wolf Bastards bouncing about with their pop tunes, like doing your cardio, and then Ritual King just cool you down.
Just brings you back to earth, yeah.
One thing we haven't mentioned actually with that stage is Sleep in Motion unfortunately had to pull out a couple of days before.
Yeah, they did. They got replaced by
Shadow Veil.
That's the one.
Who I actually really like, but
I do, yeah.
They clashed with Dripfed Empire, so by the time Dripfed had done, we wouldn't have had time to get in to see them, really.
No, we would have seen maybe a song.
And then had to run back for those once loyal, so that was a shame. But yeah, everyone else, I don't think there were any other last minute changes, were there? I think
that was the only one.
And pretty much everything seemed to run to time, so...
Yeah, I think the only delay I remember seeing was El Nuno coming on like 10 minutes late.
Yeah, and I think those once loyal might have been a couple of minutes, just finished off the sound check, but obviously that might have been a knock-on effect. Actually, no, because Dripfed were on time, weren't they?
Dripfed were on time, yeah, so...
Yeah, it was just a couple of minutes of doing the final check on, I think they were changing a lead over or something, but nothing.
Yes, I think there was a lead change,
drastic, yeah.
Yeah, it was a cable change, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, incredible festival, though, and very long day and very tiring, but absolutely worth it.
Yeah, we got a lot of steps in going between all the stages.
Yeah, I'm glad we covered all four.
Yeah, definitely, especially the new one. Even though we only went in there for one band, it was good just to see what the setup was that they got in there. I mean, part of me thinks maybe we didn't need a fourth stage because it would have been less running around, but obviously that just spreads the footfall out a bit more anyway, so it stops the other stages being too full, and it just brings in more variety for people because. I think in a similar way to what we said about Uprising, it's a really good mix of different styles, genres, and there's something for everybody. Yeah,
I do think that variety worked. And it did also feel like every single stage was heaving, regardless of who was on. It everywhere felt busy.
Even though earlier in the day, like we said, when the main stage first kicked off, because obviously that's the biggest room, it wasn't as full, but there was still
a good sized crowd
in there. Yeah. People who want to be in there from the start, get their money's worth and support all of the bands, which is what it's all about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, a great day as always. As we've already said, we've been to every Mangata so far and it just keeps getting bigger and
better. Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of which...
Next year.
Yeah.
Early bird tickets are on sale now and they are just £30.
So that's for the Saturday, the 12th of July, 2025. Feels weird saying that already.
I know.
In Nottingham.
Yeah, but we don't know where. It just says Nottingham.
Yeah. So are we at the same venue or we're not? We don't know.
We don't know, yeah.
I mean, Nottingham's not a huge place, so if you're unsure whether to visit, just get your ticket anyway. You'll find it. It won't be out of the way.
Yeah. Part of me wonders whether they're going to have Ghost next year, whether they'd have Rock City if there's no gig.
I don't know, actually, because I know like the Ghost venue did have a few other live music things on, didn't they? And then they pulled them all, and I think they got moved over to Billy Bootleggers, Percy Picklebackers, whatever it is. So I don't know.
It'd be interesting to see if they did Rescue Rooms, Red Room, and Rock City.
All these Rock City beta.
And beta. So they could start 4 stages. I suppose it depends on costs, what Rock City have got.
Well, yeah.
What they're anticipating the ticket sales to be. So, but yeah, if you want to go to one of the best kind of day festivals out there, amazing price ticket at £30, then this is the one to do.
Yeah, so we've done all three, and the lineup's been exceptional every time. There's always something you're going to like, even if you don't like everything, but you probably won't, because we don't like everything. But there'll be £30 worth of music on there.
Yeah, easily.
We guarantee you that. We can't guarantee where it'll be or who will be there, but it will be worth it. Obviously, to finish, we need to say a big thank you to Mangata for putting on the festival, Joel sorting out the press passes for us, and obviously thank you all for listening. If you were there, let us know who your favourite bands of the day were, if they were the same as ours. And we've already put some stuff out on our socials during the day while we were there, but there'll be more to come. So if you want to check those out, we're on Instagram, Twitter, or X and Threads at Ready to Moshcast, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at Ready to Mosh. There will be a vlog out at some point because we've got lots of footage of the bands that we did watch, and you'll see us bobbing about throughout the day, running between venues and all of that. You'll also see other bits of the venues as well, like the marketplace and everything else we talked about too. Don't forget that we have now got our Patreon, which is just £3 a month. And for that, you get to hear all the bloopers that don't make it into the show. You get to hear what's coming up before anybody else for the month ahead. And you do get to hear episodes 24 hours in advance of everyone else too, wherever possible. And we'll be back soon with another episode. Make it stop, Moog.